Welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you haven't been here before. This is another Pokemon TCG video. I have previously done a video about a month ago on Mienshao, and today we're looking at its evolution, Mienshao, which, like Mienshao, obviously because they go together, has had very little love both in the game, the video game, and in the card game. Although it's Pokemon I'm very fond of. There are 8 artworks, 8, top line Japanese, English, and then English reverse. Let's have a look through and see what I can think to say about any of them. So I'll bring the camera down, bear with me. This is not very professional, but this is how I do them, no production values. So the first card we had was this one, and this is a card by Atsuki Nishida and is competent. It's quite simple. I like the look in Mienshao's face, but it's not an exciting card. It's okay. Bit of movement in it. It's okay. And that one came out in the Red Collection of July 2011, and in English it was in Noble Victories of November 2011. Swamichiaki did the second card, and this came out in Psycho Drive of September 11 and Next Destinies of February 2012. I kind of like the lighting of a shaft of light in a dark cave, but actually the representation of Mienshao is a bit thin, bit weak, not very inspiring. So that is the second one. The third card is by Himemaru and came out in Boundaries, no, came out in Freezebolt of July 2012 and in Boundaries Crossed of November 2012. Himemaru had changed her art style around this period, gone for a sort of fisheye lens feel to the background, but the way that she's painted Mienshao is very plasticky. There's no real sense of texture anymore. Everything looks like it's a plastic figure, being with the light catching on that, and I don't particularly like that style, but Himeno is a very good artist, and it's still a worthy card. It's just I would have preferred her to do it in her previous style. So the fourth card we have here came out in Rising Fist of June or July of 2014, I can't remember, and then Furious Fists of August 2014. This is Tokiya. This is a very good piece of artwork. Tokiya is a great artist. I absolutely love the pose. Very dramatic, with low camera angle looking up at Mienshao on the corner post of a boxing ring or a wrestling ring or whatever they are, with this sort of almost like steam rising off it, or energy of some sort. But that's beautifully painted. I'm not sure I like the environment. The lighting is very interesting. It just doesn't quite work for me, but it's still incredibly good card. Menacing. Look at the look in Mienshao's eye. And that menace is got from having a low camera angle and the lighting being from above and behind, and the symmetry of this. It's all focusing in on this figure. So that's very well done card. Good artist. There was a big gap after that. It wasn't until Rapid Strike Master of January 2021, which was Battle Styles later in 21, March I think 21. And we had Tairakitsu doing Mienshao. And Tairakitsu is my second favourite artist in the TCG after Mitsuhiro Arita. I think they are genius beyond anything else of the modern batch of artists. I love the fact that you have to really really look at the detail of the background, because often Akitsu does these very milky backgrounds that almost lose distinction if unless you, as I say, look very closely at the way it's constructed. Confident, fluid outlines, bringing the character forward, dramatic pose, absolutely brilliant. Forced perspective of coming out of the frame here, but great. And people just don't. I don't feel that people really appreciate Akitsu for how great she is. So, the next card, Shibuzo, who has this, and this was in Time Gazer of April 22, and Lost Origin of September 22. And Shibuzo, a lot of people love Shibuzo. I am not one of them, I'm afraid. I can see why people like it. The colours in this don't work for me. They're gaudy and clashing colours, and the fluid textures of the background, always done in pastels. I think they are a good artist. I'm not knocking that. It's just stylized in a direction that doesn't appeal to my eye. And it's the combination of these particular colours I don't feel comfortable with. So that's Shibuzo. Now the next one's an interesting one. The last two both came out in Ancient Roar at the end of sort of October last year, I think it was. Yeah, it was October in 23. And Paradox Rift at the end of last year. Now this is an artist called Mienshao. And I can't really say I know much about them. I think the painting of the little village in the background, which you really have to get up close and look at to see, it's done in a sort of watercolour, rather traditional style for Japanese watercolour. And this very interesting choice of hyper-saturated pink ground. But the thing is, I don't like the representation of Mienshao here at all. I find that the outlines very lacking confidence in strength and direction. It's a very strange pose. But the odd thing about this card is, reminds me of this album cover by Hawkwind, Warrior on the Edge of Time. Instantly, because I'm very sensitive to colours and combinations of colours, when I saw this card I thought, oh, I know that. I know those two colours together. And it just seems very odd. It's almost like a homage, because it feels very similar in art style to this in a lot of ways. So that's just an interesting, meaningless aside. And the last card we have is the art rare that came out in Paradox Rift Ancient Rule, which is another Akitsu card done in a traditional Japanesey style of pine trees over a waterfall, canyon, whatever. It's drawing on traditional tropes of representation of this style, but I don't like it as much as the other Akitsu card, this one, simply because I think the pose of Mienshao here is confusing me. I don't know, I'm not absolutely sure which way it's facing. I think it's facing away from us. I think we're looking at its back and it's turning its head, because they've got that foot up in the air, but the balance of it seems very strange. Still, it is Tairakitsu, and it is beautifully painted, and the colour tones in that are just gorgeous. So as an art rare, it definitely works. The final card I will be showing you is just a Minen card by Komayama, because Mienshao appears in the background here. I'm not aware of any other cards in which there are cameos of Mienshao. It seems unlikely that there's going to be a lot of them, but I did come across that one while I was, because I collect Minen as well. So, okay, so that is all I have to say about Mienshao today. It's a Pokemon I love very, very much, even though most other people forget it exists. Its character design is so strange, and I remember when it first was revealed, I thought it was weird with these long arms. I didn't realise that the little hands were actually tucked away in there with, this is like a long sleeve. Reminds me of the Zhangji drum dance in House of Flying Daggers. But anyway, that is a look at Mienshao, and this is my favourite one by a pretty big margin, I think. But the Tukia one is also very good, and there's something in everything here that is worth looking at. It's an easy enough collection to complete. There are only 8 cards, and none of them are hard to find or expensive. So it's one of those simple little collections I just put together. Rather like my, I've got a heap more collection at the moment that I'm working on, so that'll probably be a video I'll be doing very soon. Another Pokemon that nobody cares about. There's a lot of Gen 5 stuff like that. So, okay, that's it for now.